Hello. Thank you for attending our Skin Cancer Awareness Workshop. I'll begin by asking you the same question I ask everyone. What comes between you and the sun? Have a seat and get to know your neighbor as you ponder that question. We'll begin our gathering activity promptly at 6. It's 6 o'clock. Thank you for coming on time. We'll go ahead and get started, and as more people come in and join your table, just include them in the game. We're going to start with the person on the left-hand side of the table and work our way around. Each of you will in turn choose one item from the left side of the screen and tell us why you would choose that item to protect you from the sun. We want to know why, when, and how you use it. I'll start by giving you an example. Years ago, my brother was at the beach. He'd forgotten to bring a hat, and so he took off his shirt, and he tied it around his head to protect his head, his ears, and his neck because he felt like those areas were more vulnerable than his chest, his back, and his arms. So that's my story. You've got 15 minutes to share yours with one another, and then I'll call you back to attention for our next activity. Welcome back. Our purpose in this next section is to teach you to be detectives. First, I'll introduce you to our guest speakers. This is Dr. Abraham, an oncologist and a noted author. His most recent book, A Waste of Skin, is causing people to rethink their neglect of their skin that so often leads to melanoma. On my right is Dr. Isaac. He's in the process of developing a phone app that makes preliminary diagnosis of skin cancer and alerts people to the need to schedule an appointment with doctors for confirmation, and so that they can begin their treatment if it's necessary. The doctors will help us with our detection exercise that we're going to be doing later on, and then after that, they will share some of their cases with us and conduct a question and answer session. How do you become a skin detective? First, pick a day. A birthday is a great day, so shout it out. What day of the month is your birthday? The 17th? Perfect. On the 17th of every month, you will be conducting a thorough examination of your skin. But what are you looking for? How do you know when to consult a doctor? You're looking for the ugly duckling sign and the ABCDEs. The ugly duckling sign? I'm sure you're asking yourself, what could that possibly mean? It means a mark on your body that seems out of place, a sore that won't heal, a mole or a freckle that stands out. Most of the moles that people have follow similar patterns. They resemble one another like siblings do. If there is a mole on your body that's very different from others, it's time to call the doctor. I'll share some examples with you of the ugly duckling sign. This one is larger and darker than the others around it. This one lacks pigmentation. It could also be a different color. Also one that stands alone. It's people who have more than 100 moles on their body are more vulnerable for skin cancer. People who aren't prone to get moles, it's very concerning if they have one. Now the ABCDEs. A stands for asymmetry. An imaginary line bisecting one of your moles in any direction should have the same thing on both sides. B stands for border. A benign mole will have a smooth, regular border. You might see a little arm come out, and that is something to be very concerned about if the mole starts breaching its border. And ultimately, when it's malignant, it won't have much of a border at all. It'll just be a dark area on your skin. Color is C. Most moles are either without pigmentation or they're brown or dark brown, tan or dark brown. When you see multiple colors or multiple shades of the same color on a mole, that is something to be concerned about. Also, if it becomes cancerous, sometimes you'll see it in colors that you don't normally find in moles. You don't want patriotism in your moles. You sometimes find melanomas that are red, yellow, and blue, or red, white, and blue. D is for diameter. The diameter of your mole should not be larger than the eraser on a wooden number 2 pencil. And that wooden number 2 pencil is a good tool to use. It's a good idea when you're teaching your children and grandchildren about what to watch out for, explaining it to your neighbors. It's a good idea to explain it in terms that make sense to them and describe it using items that they can relate to and that they can visualize. E stands for evolving. There's a reason that we ask you to examine your skin every month, because that's the best way to be aware of changes, and changes should be reported to a doctor. That's a sign of a precancerous lesion, possibly even skin cancer developing. Now, if you look at the table in front of you, you'll see some tools, some important surveillance tools. There's a mirror and a magnifying glass. For our next activity, all of you skin detectives will practice surveillance on your arms and face. We'll take a 10-minute break right now, and when you return, we'll go through each slide slowly. Doctors Abraham and Isaac will be on hand to answer questions, so just raise your hand if you think you've spotted a problem and you need a second opinion. Before we leave for our break, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Skin Cancer Foundation for allowing us to use their pictures. For more information about skin cancer and early detection, please visit their website at www.skincare.org. I'll see you back in 10 minutes for our skincare detection activity.